Hello everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. Pathfinder Phase 1, Block 1, Module 1. I'm going to show you guys my kit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the items. Now, first thing I want to mention is that this is a cotton type bag. And I keep my 10Cs inside of this bag. You're probably wondering why I do that. That's because this bag goes in my main pack that I carry, and in that pack there are other items that I keep, but I keep my 10Cs in this pouch so that I know when I pull this out of my pack that all my 10Cs are here without question, without doubt. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to show you what I have. Now again, this bag is like a cotton type material, so it has uses for itself. Inside of this cotton bag I have a Seal Line dry bag. Okay, this is a 10-liter bag. I'll set that down, and the last thing in here, which is part of my 10Cs, I'll set this back too. I'll talk about all this stuff in a minute. Now the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to my 10Cs is my cutting tool. Now you're probably wondering about that. Let me open this stuff up, pull some of this stuff out, and we'll get to that. There is my cutting tool right there. This is a full tang knife. This happens to be the Condor Bush Lore. It's not an expensive knife. It's made in El Salvador. It's a full tang knife, so it's 1075 high carbon steel, which is a pretty decent steel. It's not like the best, but it's not the worst. The reason I like a high carbon steel in my knife is so that I can hit a piece of obsidian or flint or chert against it. Sometimes quartz works, and I can effectively produce sparks. Now this knife has a few uses. Again, I just mentioned fire starting, but you can process meat with this knife. You can cut rope with this knife. You can use it to build shelter, process wood. You can make camp implements. There's a lot of uses that you can use a knife for. You can lash this knife to a pole and make a spear, a primitive type weapon, things of that nature. This is the first C. You can see that this knife comes in a nice leather case, and it can attach right to my belt. This is my knife. The second C is combustion. Combustion is some way of starting fire. Now that's what I had right here in this kit. This is an old camera bag, and inside of here is my combustion. This is all my fire making implements. Right here, first thing I see is an Altoids tin. This house happens to have my flint and steel kit with some jute in there. There's some char cloth. That's the first part of my fire kit. The next thing in the next compartment, let's see what we have in here. I have this container. This container has some personal fire starters that I like to make. They are basically, they're cotton rounds that are soaked in Vaseline and then dipped in wax. They're very similar to the Mini Inferno that you can get from Dave's website. This is just my personal version of that. You know, a lot of people are making these. I also have a nice little tin here that I can use to char materials, so that's there. I have some Tinder Quicks. These work really good. You can fluff these up, and there's a little spark wheel that comes with it. See that in the picture, hopefully. There's that little spark wheel. And it's like a burnt out lighter is what it's like. And you can light these up pretty good. It's a very easy, quick fire, so you don't have to put damage on your ferro rod and things like that. Right here, I have my magnification lens, right? This is for making solar fires. Right there. This is a 4-power, I think. This is a magnifying lens. Hopefully you can see that. Wonder how weird that video would look if I put it up to the lens up there. Look at that. Hello. So this, again, I can use to make solar ignition. And inside this pouch, this is just an old sunglass pouch. I do that to keep it from scratching. There's some more Tinder Quicks in there. And the Tinder Quicks are soft, so I keep that in there. Keeps it nice and protected so it doesn't get scratched. What else do I have in here? I have my Lightning Strike fire starter. In my opinion, this is probably the best fire starter that you can get. In the cap here, there's a bunch of tinder inside. and the cap has like a rubber thing inside there, and when this shock cord keeps the rubber cap tight, which in theory keeps this tinder waterproof inside. This is a 3/16 by 1 3/4 ferrocerium rod inside of an aluminum housing. It has a nice little striker. Thing works really good for making fire. So that's my ferro rod device, if you will. What else do I have? I also have a nice 1/2 inch by 5 inch ferro rod with some duct tape around it. That's in case I lose my lightning strike or something like that. I have this as well. And I have some fat wood. I like to keep fat wood in my kit. It's just, you know, fat wood will light up very easily. It works very well. I have a small Altoids tin, and inside of this I have some tinder quicks, and then I have a little kind of like a flint striker thing, like on a Zippo lighter. It makes a little spark like a burnt out lighter. It's very small, made by Ultimate Survival Technologies. And then there's also some of those Vaseline and wax type fire starters that I make. I can also use this tin to make char as well. And last but not least, I have some Bic lighters, and I have orange, yellow, and green. I like those colors. They're still in the package. I don't use them very much. I just basically leave them in that package just in case I need some sort of quick fire. So that's my combustion device. Now you're probably wondering some of the uses. Obviously I can use my ferro rod to make fire. I can use it as a toggle, and I can use it as a kubaton, if you will, for the lack of a better description. It would be used like a self-defense item. So these are all my fire implements in my kit. I think it's a good kit, and I keep it in this little camera bag. That way everything's nice and contained. Everything fits right there, and if I lose it in the night or if I drop it, I know what I'm feeling for. It's like, oh yeah, there's my fire kit. It has a nice little handle, got little D-rings on the side, and I can use this kit for a lot of stuff. It's my fire kit. Now, next thing, cover. I have a couple covers. I have this one. This is the SOL Survive Outdoor Longer, I think. This is a 5 foot by 7 foot Mylar style reflected tarp. This is very, very solid. It's really good for making a microclimate. It's good for keeping you out of the rain. It's good for keeping the heat from the fire reflecting back onto you. You can use this for signaling. You can use it as a ground cloth. You can use it for shelter. You can lay it down on the ground, put some firewood on it, and then strap it up and haul wood with it. You can use the orange to signal with. You can lay it around yourself to keep warm. I also have a standard, I think this is a 9 foot by 7 foot or 8 by 10. I'm not sure what size this is, but this is another tarp. You can see I have some duct tape holding it together. This is just another tarp, and I'm sitting on a wool blanket. This wool blanket can be used to break conduction. For example, I'm sitting on this cold rock, and this wool blanket's making it actually pretty comfortable. So this wool blanket could also be used as a cover as well. Now if you had something made out of like a canvasy type of tarp or a drop cloth or something like that, you could cut that into strips and you could make char cloth out of that if you had to. Now that we got cover finished, we're going to talk about containers. Now this container is an overkill in reference to what's required for the course. So I'm only going to show you what's necessary for the course. And that is a 32 ounce stainless steel water bottle with a nesting cup. That's what you need. That's your container. You can boil water with this thing. You can carry water. You can make char cloth inside of this by taking the lid off, putting a nesting cup on it, and putting this thing in a fire. You could char cloth inside of this thing. There's a little stove here that wraps around the bottle. They don't come this color from the factory. This is the color that they turn after you've used them in the fire a few times. And in this kit there's many other items that you might be seeing in the video. There's ferro rod in here, there's mini inferno, there's this little fish mouth spreader that is useful for putting in the mouth of the bottle, and you can use it as a bail. There's a lot of good things in this kit. There's also excuse me, there's also an alcohol stove in here that works very well too. So that's my container, if you will. Again, stainless steel is the way to go. Nalgene makes good bottles. They make good plastic water bottles, and they make a decent stainless steel bottle, but I think the Pathfinder school, I think they have the best water bottles that you can get. So that's my container. Now, cordage. Let's talk about cordage. I carry several types of cordage with me because I don't know what I'm going to be doing. This right here is mule tape. This is 1,800 pound tensile strength. Again, it's called mule tape. This stuff works really well. Let me get that down a little bit for you guys. Whoops, sorry about that. This stuff works really well for when you're going to be making stuff around camp, things of that nature. Now right here I have some commercial grade parachute cord. This is just standard 550 cord. And on here, this is a spool tool, which houses a small Bic lighter, and on the other end it has a little razor blade. Hopefully you can see that. So this razor blade you can use to cut all your cordage, and it'll save the edge on your knife. This has about 100 feet of, again, type 3 commercial grade 550 cord. Right here is some bank line. This is number 18 bank line. This is really thin. This is a 3-ply mariner's line. This works for a lot of uses. And last but not least, I have some number 36 bank line. This is a little bit heavier duty. This is around 300 and something pounds tensile strength. Good stuff. 3-ply cordage. Again, this stuff is really good to have depending on what you're going to be using. So you got really heavy duty stuff, you got strong, and then you got kind of a medium strength and then a light duty. Those cordages can be used for many things. You could build shelter, you can use them to make a bow drill set, you can use them for tripod lashings, you can use them to make a sling to hold your arm up if you hurt yourself. You can haul your bags up into the tree that might have food in them to keep the animals from getting at the food, things of that nature. But cordage has many, many uses. Now, my personal opinion, the number 36 bank line I think works best for a bow drill set. I like that. So now let's move on to the next piece of gear, which is our candling. Let me get down to the bottom. Candling device is some sort of headlamp. You need some sort of headlamp so that your hands can be free. You don't want to be trying to hold a flashlight and holding your bag and looking inside with a flashlight. And then you see the item that you want, but you don't have a free hand to reach in there and grab it. But if you have a headlamp on, you can look down in there with your headlamp light and reach down and grab the item that you need. This headlamp is good, again, because it's hands-free operation. You can use this as a signaling device in 2 ways. One, it has a flashing mode. Right there. Flashing. It has a high and a low, and then it has a flash. So that's a signaling device. It also has a whistle right here built onto the side of it. So you could use it to whistle, you could use it to signal, you could obviously use it for light, you could use the batteries out of it to start fires, assuming that you have some char cloth or some steel wool. And you could also use this light to warn animals around your camp. So that's my candling device. The next thing is cotton bandanas. I keep a few extras. Dave Canterbury recommends that you get the 36 by 36, but I couldn't find those in my area, so I got the 24 by 24s, and I have a couple of them. I have about 4 or 5 of them here. I got a couple extra because of the lack of being able to find the 36 by 36. Now these cottons can be used for bandages. You can use them to make a sling. You could signal with them, you know, the orange ones at least. You can cut them down and make char cloth out of them. You could filter water through them, use it as a pre-filter, if you will, to get rid of the debris and stuff like that that might be in your water. So you could use them for that. You could also use them to strip down and make cordage out of them. What else could you use them for? You could maintain your body's core temperature by kind of using them as blankets. So there's your cotton. Now let's talk about the compass. Compass has a lot of things that you could do with a compass. Now I have this little Toshiba. It's a case for a hard drive for a computer is what it is. It's for an external hard drive, and I keep my compass inside there. This compass is the Masunto, I think they call it, Saunto, sorry. This is the MC2. This is a good compass. It has a magnification lens. Yeah, it has a mirror so I can use it for signaling. I can find my directions with it. You know, I can make fire with that magnification. You know, with using solar energy. I can also use my pace count ranger beads to establish direction, how far I've traveled. For example, when I'm in my journal and I'm writing down my map and I found some good resources, I can pace count how far those resources are from my camp and mark that down, you know, not just the how far, but what direction they are. So I could say, oh, in 300 yards, or excuse me, 300 meters to the west, there's water. 500 meters to the south, there's some oak trees or something like that. So that's what my pace count beads do for me. And again, I keep them in this nice case which protects my compass. This compass is different than my old compass. My old one was very simple. It didn't have a signaling mirror on it. It was just a basic compass. Works great, but it didn't have that signaling mirror, and it didn't have all those extra features that I could use with that signal mirror. So that's my compass. Again, I keep it in this little pouch, keeps it protected. And also in my pouch right here, I have some spare batteries just in case I need batteries for my candling device, for my my headlamp. If I got something in my face, I can look in the mirror and say, oh, yep, there it is. Or if I sat on a cactus and I can't see back there, I can hold the mirror down and say, yep, I got a bunch of cactus in my butt. So that's my compass. And what do we have? Cargo tape. This is the Gorilla duct tape. This is cargo tape. This is good for fixing tarps, fixing shelters. You can strip it down, make cordage out of it. You can use it for fire starting. You can use it to make containers. There is a ton of uses that you can use cargo tape for. Now, the last item is the sail needle. This is the canvas needle. I keep it behind a piece of duct tape on the sheath of my knife. Now, this isn't just some basic needle that you'll find anywhere. This is a steel needle, very, very solid. You can take the parachute cord or the bank line with those thin inner strands, and you can sew up all kinds of stuff with this needle. You can also magnetize this needle and use it to make a compass. You can make a browse bag with this needle. You can use it for first aid. There's a lot of uses out of that canvas needle. Now, all of those items fit inside this dry pouch, this dry bag. So I could use this for a lot of things too. Signaling, I could use it for carrying water. I could use it to stone boil water inside this bag. I could use it for keeping kindling dry, keeping tinder dry. I can use it for hauling wood. There's a ton of uses for this bag, and it folds up into nothing. It's very small, very light. You don't even know you have it. So that is my 10-piece kit. And again, not to reiterate too much, but I do have other items that are going to be in my pack that you'll see as I go through this training. So again, I want to say thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up. Please feel free to leave comments down below. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, we'll see ya. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.